Okay, so welcome to uh, our week 3 gathering. Well, although it's not week 3, we're already in week 4 today. Week 4 started on yesterday, and week 3 was all about sparking the empowered woman. So I know, Micah, I know you're a bit behind, and that's okay. Have you started week 3 at all, or you're finishing week 2 yet?
I just started on week 3, day 6, when you had emailed me, I did day 6 and 7.
Oh, okay.
And
You know,
I just figured I'll go back and do extras of the others I go along. So that I'm not like, what are you guys talking about?
that's okay. You can always just listen to the audios too to catch up, because they kind of, I've made the, just so you know this, I've made the audio part with the journal kind of progressive through the week.
Okay.
So one topic builds into the next, and I don't know if that's apparent or not. Maybe for some weeks it is, but that's the way the process went, just so you know. Thanks.
Okay. I'll go back and do the journal prompts that way then
Yeah, no worries.
and just stay up on the audio.
Yeah, no problem at all. I mean, it's all good. Susan, where are you at in yours?
I'm ready to start week 4, so I've done everything up to week 3, except I haven't, excuse me, I haven't been journaling. But I
That's an
read,
option.
I read the mind flow thing and the mantra and the prayer, and I have to say nothing's happening yet.
Nothing's
but
happening.
but I'm doing it, so we'll see. Any day now it could happen.
I'm not sure what you're waiting for, but
Yeah.
what are you hoping for?
Oh, I don't. I'm hoping that suddenly voices will speak to me, and you know, that I don't know things. That I'll get messages and that I can recognize. Because I think I probably do get messages, but I don't recognize them as messages.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure you are getting messages too. Sometimes they're so subtle that we don't hear them or
Yeah.
fly by us really quick.
I
And
need
you,
to get an email saying, Susan, I sent you this message. Did you get it? Right. You
well,
know.
that's a really good point, because I think the biggest part is you have to decide in your life. You decide what direction you're going and what you're doing, and don't wait for the messages, but you kind of go, okay, well, this is what my heart's calling me to. This is what I'm going to do, and really commit to it, and then the messages come through for you.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've always found, is when I'm sitting kind of in a spot going, oh, I think I want to go in this direction, but I'm not sure. If I just say, yeah, okay, I'm going to create this, then it's oh, like so many coincidences and synchronicities and things start happening at that point, because we have free will here. We came here with free will, and this is part of our journey, our own personal growth journey. So we can't rely on the universe to step in. And actually, that's perfect, because you just led us into, day 1, where it was unleashing the inner queen, and how sometimes we are in a waiting mode. And if we think of it as the queen archetype versus the princess archetype, I love doing this because then it's really clear for me. It's like the princess is waiting to be saved. She's waiting for, someone to come and rescue her. And, I realized when all this came up for me, and it was probably about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, when it's like, oh my gosh, I am waiting. I am waiting for the universe to tell me it's go time. I'm waiting for the universe to say, yes, child, you are blessed. Go and do this, right? And and it was like in that moment when it just clicked for me and I said, I'm not waiting anymore. Like it's like people waiting, and they say there's so many
Yeah.
people waiting to win the lottery. Like they really truly think their life is going to change because one day they're going to win the lottery. And we all kind of have that little part of us that
Yeah.
is waiting for that miracle because we've seen that. We've been taught that in the childhood stories. We've been taught that in the happy ending movies. Like how many. Oh my gosh. So those Christmas stories are about the woman who's deprived and in scarcity and ends up meeting a man who's rich or vice versa. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is
Never
not
happened to
setting.
me.
No, it's not setting us up for success. And personally, I've always thought about that. It's like, yeah, okay, it'd be really nice to win the lottery, but really, really, I would really rather make my million and be proud of myself for it
Yeah.
than that. And but anyways, that's that energy of waiting, right? Waiting for a sign, waiting for somebody to save you, but the truth is that you're a queen, right? And you have so much power within you to access, and you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
One of the things when I was writing my book, what chapter was it? I can't even remember. It's been a long time since I've looked at it, but there was a chapter in there where I had this like huge vision of this immense light force coming in, and I felt it. And it was like winning the lottery felt so teeny tiny minuscule compared to this energy that we have access to at any time, wherever we are in the world,
Yeah.
right? When I travel to Mexico, I still have access to this infinite creative flow, life force energy that I could shift into whatever form of love I want to create here. So,
Mhm.
oh, you got me going on a spiel. Sorry.
Well, you're right though. I think I'm just ahead of the curve in one sense because I listened to what several of you have talked about family difficulties and that sort of thing, and that it caused a big shift in your life and so forth. And I think I did that. I mean, you got to remember, I'm probably 20 years older than most of you, or at least 10 years older. And it all happened for me back in 2004. So I think I was 63 or something, 61 or two, something like that. And that's the first time I got breast cancer. And that started a whole thing happening. I started looking at my life and saying, gee, this isn't making me happy anymore. What would I like to do? And maybe I should stop putting things off. And I researched ways to escape um, over 3 years. And by the end of that 3 years, I had a plan. Here's what I'm going to do. And like you said, at that point, the universe stepped in and everything happened click, click, click. I didn't have to do a thing. Stuff just happened. Um, and I started on my new life. And so I went through that whole big change back in my early 60s. So,
But your life isn't over yet. And so here's what I've learned about that. You've done
no, I
your dream.
know.
You've reached the dream that you created, that you were like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move to Mexico and live my life there. So what's the next one? Now what? And so it's the
I know.
continual creation.
The problem is I never, yeah, the problem is I never expected to be this age, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. Right. But it's fine, it's just taken me longer to figure out what to do next.
So
I'm
yes,
getting there.
because be sure that you're not waiting to die, right?
No, I'm not, definitely not. Wait,
Oh,
yeah.
good. Because
And
I
I
remember
haven't stopped learning yet. There's
yeah,
still too much to learn.
so fabulous. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Crystal, how are you doing? Oh, you're muted.
I'm doing well. I thought it was really interesting your conversation just now on a few fronts. One of the things that I wrote this week was about princesses and princesses waiting for their knight in shining armor, and how the bullshit of that is like, no, damn it, I'm the princess, I can be the queen just from birthright. And so I thought that was kind of funny, but also for Susan, with what you're going through, I mean, at a young age, a fairly young age, I went through what I called my first midlife crisis. I think I was 22, maybe. But I was coming to the end of schooling, and I knew that I was at the point, I'm like, I can't keep going. I thought about doing a master's, and I'm like, no, I can't. I need a break. I'm done. Like I was going to the bars all the time, skipping my studies. I still did really well in school, but it was just one of those things that I realized I'm like, this is done. But as I was getting closer to that point of being done, things shifted. And one of my supervisors, she's like, what is going on with you? And I realized in hindsight later, going through it again at about the age of 27, that as soon as I've accomplished one of those big goals, I am completely and utterly in a terrible space if I don't have something that's coming up next. Like I have to always be, I guess, dreaming and deciding what are my next goals, what am I accomplishing next? Otherwise, I am in a, we'll call it a midlife crisis kind of scenario. That's what I've called it. But yeah, so I don't know if that helps anyone.
Oh, I 100% agree. That's been a huge thing for me too. It's that, I mean, everything grows and moves forward or else it's dying, they say, right?
Yeah.
It's either growing or
Yeah.
dying. And so it is about the learning and the continuing to go forward. But for me, it's even more than the learning. It's like, okay, what's calling to me as the next big thing? And it might be a learning curve thing to begin with, but there's got to be something developing at the end of it for me too. That vision of where's it going to take me? What am I going to do? How's this serving in the world? And where's it fit in my life and all that. So I love that too. And did you get through week 3, Crystal?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
I did find, I think, a few of the journal prompts a little bit, I don't want to use the word challenging, because I guess there was like the timing kind of component because of the specific topics. I'd either not that long ago done some of the topics or not quite, like I'm like, do I have anything?
Oh,
Because I've been doing a lot of work in a lot of those areas. So that was kind of interesting for me. But I did find an interesting technique, I guess, for automatic writing that on those days, I've been using it every day, but it's literally, I call upon my highest self, please write to me, through me, the messages I need and meant to receive at this time.
beautiful.
So that has been getting my journal handwriting. It's very interesting.
Oh, good.
See what
Yeah,
comes through. So yeah.
I
been
love
good.
that. That
And I
conversation.
forgot to say my word last week was expand.
Mhm.
And this week, I woke up singing the song called Unstoppable. I don't actually know if it's called Unstoppable
Right?
this morning. And I'm like, okay, that's my word for this week.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. I know Karen sent me a message that hers is warrior, and she had sent a picture of
What did you
it,
say?
and it's like warrior, like
Warrior, yeah.
warrior energy. And Lori had sent that her word was worthy, so that's great. Does anybody else have? I'm just going to reach for mine from last week because I finished it. So these are quite cool the way they're turning out. Okay, so that was the first week. And then I have soul alignment, which I don't know, or soul power, I should say, from last week with some writing on it. So I've got two. These are cool when you get them done and you start to, I'm like, I'm really good like hanging these up in here. That's awesome. Anybody else?
Very
Have
nice.
a word?
I don't have a word for this week yet, but my word for last week was remembering.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not painting them to hang on my walls since I'm
Yep.
renting this condo and there's no room to hang anything on the walls anymore.
No worries. You could paint right on the wall, Susan.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Right.
I'm kidding. Mhm.
I wouldn't mind, but there's not even that many walls in here. There's a lot of windows and a lot of furniture. And it's suddenly hit me that I don't know what it is about Mexicans, but they fill their rental units with furniture, but it's all furniture to sit on. There's no working surfaces except the dining room table.
Oh,
None. So I've already bought 2 tables, one for my computer, one for my art, and I'm having a special table made to put in front of the windows that look out on the terrace. And so it has to be low so the windows can open. There was always furniture in front of it, but I moved the furniture around. And that's going to be my writing and journaling and doing drawing or watercolors or something like that space,
nice.
because I always wanted to sit in front of the window and do that stuff. And there'll be space to put my altar stuff over there instead of on the dining room table.
Yeah,
So it's been a process, but
nice. Nice. You're getting
I
there.
don't know why they think, and the little teeny refrigerator. So I think the condo is meant for people who eat out all the time and definitely are totally retired, don't do anything except
Well,
watch TV.
Well,
There's always,
I
Go
did
ahead.
find that in Europe too. They have small refrigerators because they go to the market every day for their
Yeah.
food too. So yeah,
yeah,
lifestyles. That's cool. Well, I'm glad you're getting a space created that you can be creative. In 1 minute, I'm gonna get up and grab some of my what I call intention pages to show you guys because that's
yeah.
like in my art journal. That's what I've done. But
Okay.
yeah, Micah, how about you? You have any words from last week or
Well, I didn't.
I'm
I
putting
would
you on the
say
spot. I'm
I
sorry.
would just say based on what last week was for me, it would be like the words would be letting go, like
Oh,
just letting what needs to be buried and die, be buried or burned or whatever. And this week, the word that automatically came up was openness.
mhm.
So
Nice.
I would guess openness to the space that was made from letting go or in letting go.
Well, perfect.
So
All right. Um, I have a hard time picking just one word. That's why I keep writing on my canvases. Journal right on them, right? Uh, excuse me. The day 4 was very similar to the message that came through today in the morning meditation. If anyone was in there, you might recognize. So day 4 was getting bigger than your circumstances and knowing that your past is not defining you, because it can be hard to get past that. But this morning's message in meditation was, are you placing your problems or your struggles on a pedestal? Are they becoming the focus of your life? And in doing that, you're allowing them to become bigger than you, and you're giving away your power. So remembering that, problems and struggles are little, interruptions as we move along down the path, but we are bigger than that. We have a bigger energy, a stronger energy, and to reclaim that power back and say, okay, wait a minute. I'm looking outside of me to fix these. I'm looking all around me and I'm focused on these problems that are happening, like, I don't know, money struggles or relationship struggles or whatever, health problems. And I'm looking to fix that instead of coming into my power and again, getting that soulful alignment and that guidance and wisdom, that innate wisdom that we can tap into. So I just wanted to point that out, to reclaim that power, reclaim it and shift it. But I'm going to grab my pages here. Just a minute. Or not. I'm like, where did I put my art journals? They might come to me as I'm sitting here. They should, oh, there they are, right in front of me. Now, some of you may be familiar with this because these started in my clearing debris through forgiveness program. But you can use your art journal to create. So, this one is from 2020, just releasing was the word. So tapping into the energy of the word is what we're doing, right? So releasing, and then I had, lots of vine growth and some balloons letting go, and words, I am unlimited when I believe I am. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, trust, releasing into peace, into acceptance, into love, and letting go with a sailboat in the corner. So just write the word, like I do a watercolor wash, and then take a Sharpie and write the word and start drawing and playing and doodling and adding symbols and images. So here's one I did on presence. So just being fully present right here, right now. Power of now, awareness, prayer, connection, open, trust, faith, hold space, attention is generosity, surrender, allow. So these were back in 2020 that I created these, so a little while ago. Limitless, just a playful, limitless paint splatter, expand my reach. And empowerment was one of the ones that I did, which is, I was thinking of today too, but empowerment, what does empowerment feel like? What does it look like? And I remember in the group, I started talking about, what does empowerment feel like for you? When have you felt you're most empowered? Which is kind of what this week is all about, right? Empowerment. And it's like, oh, I remember the feeling of riding a bike for the first time, that feeling of freedom and power. And then it took me to the first time I drove a car without anyone else in it. It's like, woohoo, I am completely free. First time driving alone. Having, that power suit, especially when you're like in your 20s and 30s, that little black dress or the little red dress and the high heels and the like walking in and just feeling good, right? Dressed to the nines. Going to college and university was empowering. Buying my car by myself for the first time, because when I was first married, I couldn't get a loan without my husband. Women didn't get loans, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so when I went in to buy my car, I expected that they were going to say, okay, well, if you can come back tomorrow with your husband, we'll combine the incomes. And he's like, oh, okay, let's get this done. And I'm like, you don't need my husband? No, you're good. I'm like, that was awesome. Yes. But then when you keep digging, it's empowerment is present, is being right here in the moment. It is our alignment. It's true alignment with source, right? So that's the bottom line is of empowerment. So I just wanted to share some of those with you so you can use your art journal. You don't have to be painting through this, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And put this back here. Oh. And I actually have my background started 2 days, so I will add to it. But I did want to talk and just get conversation going around a couple points today, unless you guys had something that came up for you in any of the weeks, we can chat. Right. Okay, so I had a conversation too with a friend about comparison and how she was finding that she was getting triggered by someone that was a mentor for her, and really inspired her. And she truly loves this woman and is like very grateful for her. But lately, because this woman is now like, she's a go-getter. She's continuing to do the things. She's creating this and that and jumping in here and there and getting invited to all these things. I think she might even have been invited into a TED Talk or something. And my friend was like, oh, I made the decision to just block her for 30 days. Because she's like, I'm feeling so triggered around her. And it's interesting because, the conversation around that was like, well, that's definitely your choice. You can do that. And you can also then begin to take a look at why she's triggering you and um, see if you can shift it into inspiration. And so that was day 5 from comparison to quantum leaping, right? So it can be really hard when you see all these people posting online what they're doing, what they're creating. I really get tired of my paint pens drying up on me. Anybody know any tricks for that?
Mm-mm.
Hmm. I have another one. Okay, choosing empowered because empowerment doesn't fit. It's-
Unstoppable didn't fit either, so it's.
I love it.
That's great.
Oh, okay. Micah left. Jeez, I missed that. Okay, she had to
Yeah,
go.
I'm gonna need to leave too.
No problem. One thing that I have made a change for this group for the next round is we're not meeting every week. I'm just offering 3 sessions and that's it. Right? So, because I just feel that that will do the trick and then they can create on their own too. But I don't know.
So do we still have 3 more sessions?
I don't think it's 3 more. I actually think it's 2 more.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I have to double check the dates, but
Yeah, okay,
like next week and then 1 more.
yeah,
And then,
okay.
yeah, I'll send out a kind of a bit of a questionnaire for people to give me some feedback in.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thanks for coming,
Have-
Susan.
Have a great
We
That
lost
was-
her. She is cute.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
We've had some great synchronicities in our life in the last little bit, which has been kind of fun.
oh yeah?
Yeah. Our son got invited to a baseball camp and tournament in Arizona. And
Cool.
we were gonna do a cruise with a friend that I was turning 50, but I've been questioning out whether or not we go for a number of reasons.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden this opportunity came up and I am working on education certification on a new technology we're gonna have in the office. And their head office is like 30 minutes away from this place in Arizona where Emery's gonna go.
Oh,
Like,
really?
and then turns out there was 3 of them from his team that were invited to go, and one of the kids' grandparents lives there. And they have an uncle that lives there, but the uncle's gonna be gone that entire week, so he's gonna let us stay in his house. He's gonna charge us for some incidentals and all that kind of stuff for, like, having it cleaned and stuff like that, and is lending us his van.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
Oh
like,
my gosh,
boom, boom, boom. All right.
that's fabulous.
Some meant to be little things.
No kidding. Don't you love when that happens?
I
Oh my
do.
gosh. I sorry, I lost what I was gonna say there.
That's okay.
Something about the synchronicities, so.
I love synchronicities.
Oh, when you had hesitation about the trip, I had that too. I was like, I was invited actually to go and speak at a retreat in Punta Cana,
Oh, lovely.
which would be lovely.
Exactly.
But I was asked to kind of come for free and which
Yeah.
is I get, when people are first starting their journeys out in their business, which is fine. And well, I would have to pay to go actually to stay, but
Yeah.
I was quite like, oh, this just feels so right at first. And then the longer I kind of the invitation came, back in November, so we had lots of time, and I just felt hesitant about it. I kept like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, why am I hesitating about this? Why don't I just jump right in? Because I'd be meeting new women, new circles, right? It's really great. I love the idea of speaking at retreats. That is direction I want to go. So what's the hesitancy? And then my grandson is having surgery the day before I would have to go. So I was like, oh, that's why I
Yeah.
need to be here. Right. So
Amazing.
yeah, it is. You kind of know, right? When it's a yes and it's gonna all line up and when it's not.
Yeah. First. Yeah, I now have to call my friend. It's her 50th birthday, the cruise, and just say, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's too bad, but
But
yeah. Yeah, that part was hard too. But I do feel that we're still gonna work together at some point. So,
yeah,
but
I've had, the amount of ideas that go through my brain. I'm sure that's the same for you. Yeah, they're like nonstop every day, every moment. And yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, and I'm especially excited because I launched my high level coaching program today.
Oh,
Was
nice.
I just felt like, oh my gosh, it's go time. Like this is happening. And talk about giddy excited launching it. So I'm quite excited about it and just feel like it is the right timing. It's taking the leap forward. It's walking my talk. It's scary, but at the same time, I feel quite confident about
Yeah.
it all. So,
Yeah.
but it still, causes that, oh my gosh, oh my
Yes.
gosh, oh my gosh, am I really doing this? Right?
Always.
Yeah.
Even when there was when I first opened my spot, like the
Yes.
space in town, I was looking for a place and I found a place and I was going through it, and then all of a sudden, well, we have to charge you more rent because you want parking, and we have to do this because you want this, and now you want this, so we're gonna do this. And it's like my husband finally said, he's like, this is not meant to be, honey. Like they're making you go through hoops now.
Yeah.
Never have to go through before, and they should know that you need parking. Every business is going to need some sort of parking.
Yeah, exactly.
And so finally, like, okay, I'll go. And so I called Dr. Boyd's office knowing that he had the middle space, and I wasn't going to call him because I knew it wasn't going to work for me, but I'm like, no, give it a call anyway. So I gave him a call, and just as he's like, oh my God, your timing is perfect, the people in the front bay are leaving at the end of the month. Yeah. Or at the end, whatever it was, the end of December, and now that space is open. Like it was
Oh,
just like that absolute perfect
yeah.
boom. Then it just all fell into place.
Oh,
Boom,
yes.
quick, quick. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's that following that inner voice. Oh, I love it. And the neat thing is the more you're in that excited, let's go and do this energy, the more it comes in, the more you're guided, right? So
I
that
think
is fun.
first time where I really recognized synchronicity was when I was in osteo school. And I was staying at a friend's dad's place. They would rent a room to students in Vancouver. I'd never been to his place before. He tells me how to get there, the bus, da da da, but he neglected to tell me what his apartment number was, so I couldn't actually, and it was under his girlfriend's name, and I had no idea what his girlfriend's name was. I'm like, oh my God, how am I finding this place? And as I'm walking up and thinking to myself, it'd be really awesome if, you know, something could happen that I could figure this out. And he walks out to take out the garbage. I'm like, huh, isn't that interesting?
That is
Like
oh,
just before like that, oh my God, panic. Like, what am I gonna do? And it was snowing in Vancouver at the time too, so it wasn't fantastic. And it's like, oh my God.
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, those are little moments. And then after that, I have to say, I certainly believed in synchronicity.
Right? And yeah, that's just like an answered prayers.
Exactly. Cool.
But it's
Awesome.
even in the little things. Like I used to do it as a teacher, there's always like piles of marking to do, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember so many times being like, it's the weekend. I've had absolutely no time with my family, but I got this pile of marking to do, but I really don't feel like doing it at all. And then getting this overwhelming feeling of like, it's okay. Just
Yeah.
go spend time with your family, right?
Yeah.
And then Monday morning is a snow day, right? It's like, and now I have the energy to do the marking.
Yeah.
So,
I gave up a long time ago, funnily enough, on like starting a business. You're always like, especially like in our line of business, and there's a cancellation in a client, or you know, your schedule's not booked solid, and you're like worried about where your money's going to come from that week and how you're going to get, you know,
right.
eats and all those things when you first start out. And it was just, I'm like sat down and I'm like, okay, that's not the energy you want to put out. Just say, I know that there's something important that I need to be doing at this moment in time. And it's kind of funny because this morning, well, my morning all canceled. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm sure I've got lots of other things to do.
Oh
But
my gosh.
it happens every once in a while. And you're like, usually there's quite the synchronistic thing that happens. Someone calls and they really need in, and then all of a sudden there's a space for them and things like that. But it's always, but it does every once in a while. It certainly takes you back to that, like,
Right.
old patterns that you're like scarcity. I don't know. Do you ever get over that scarcity?
Well, I don't know if you do. I think the thing is how quick can you shift yourself out of it, right?
Yeah.
It's the initial reaction. You know, I noticed that once. It just was it last year, 2 years ago, I guess, because we were still on the acreage, and I was driving into town, and all of a sudden my gas light beeped.
Oh.
And the immediate reaction was, oh my God, how am I going to pay for this? And I had lots of money to pay for my gas. And I caught myself. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a pattern that I've created of panic around money. As soon as that like ding went off, my body reacted. And yet I caught it and I was like, became very aware of it and went, oh, this is an old scarcity pattern that I don't need anymore. I'm fine. Let's go to the gas station and fill up and be fine, right? But it was a big awareness for me of how that your cellular memory,
Yeah.
right? Which you know all about.
Yeah, but it also astounds me in some ways too, because every 90 days you're a completely different person. So your cellular your cells don't exist from that time anymore, right? And so it's like, how does it actually, like, where is it actually sitting? It's not in our cells. I mean, obviously it's probably in the DNA or something like that.
What about
But
in the energetic pattern of the
maybe,
cell, right?
but it's just like, I
Quantum
don't know,
level.
I should go.
I know, right?
Forever. Oh, well. Obviously, it still serves a purpose somewhere in our lives. Otherwise, I think
I
maybe.
think I think that's part of the, that releasing out of that cellular memory or energy, and I think we get out of it eventually. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing is like that's the same as the ancestral patterns, right? All the ancestral patterns that we've inherited from DNA or energy patterns from our ancestors of scarcity and having to save everything and be careful and money doesn't grow on trees and all that stuff is still within us, and we're working on getting rid of that now because we're living in a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is it too? Oh, not quite. Almost.
We can end early.
It's okay.
I'm done with painting for today.
I'm gonna keep painting, but yeah, it's interesting that we don't have out of 11 people, we don't have anybody here. I love the Unstoppable Go. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna keep playing around with this one
Oh, that's awesome.
and adding into it. I'm having fun.
Awesome. Very cool.
All right. Well, good luck this week with your sassy soul power, and
Yes.
I'll see you next week.
Sounds great. Awesome. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
Bye.